I'm not picking the signal up on mine yet, but it's just
Yeah, it
because
just
I'm delayed.
They're just clicking. Yeah, it always. Oh, come on, Gary.
There it is, live.
Yeah, there we go.
Sweat it out.
Live at 5.
There
Live
we go.
at 5. Hold on, adjusting my fan.
We're
Gotta
actually
adjust
5
the fan.
o'clock on the East Coast. That's right. We're
Yes,
live at 5 on
live
the
at
East
5.
Coast.
Live at 5. All right. So I lost my image, Tony, just for a second. Mine says Skype.
You're back. You're good. I got you.
All messed.
I got you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. It's all
Where
the same.
is that share?
Well, sounds like you guys have had busy days today, man.
It's okay.
I had a very busy day today. On the phone, you know.
On the phone, of course.
Yeah, man, just living on that phone. Oh.
Started a watch party. Bring your popcorn.
Woo!
Yeah. Start that watch party.
Yay, Sammy's live.
All right.
Boom, sharing all the way.
Cool.
Started a watch party. Bring your popcorn.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
love
heard
the
that.
I always love the
There
delay,
we
man.
go. Yes, love
Yeah.
that delay.
All right. Well, everything's working. Look at that.
Could you take this light a little bit down? A little bit down. Yeah.
That means you guys. I just sent you guys a Facebook link.
Intensity, yeah.
The show I'm on today. Come and get it. Lots of fun.
Yeah, I think that's
Remember,
good. Yeah.
email your questions,
Come and get it.
especially you, Nate.
All
Okay.
right. Everything looks awesome.
That's good.
I love it when
All
things
right,
work.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary, I've got to get some LED screens. I went to my warehouse today, as you can see. Can you tell that?
Yeah.
I don't know if you maybe
Yes,
on my
I
signal
can.
you can tell it better. Yeah, but didn't really have any time to play with the background. Just got to go with it as is.
Looks good, Bernie. In fact, looks like you're having a big rental week. All your shelves are full.
Yeah,
Oh wow!
yeah.
I'm
That's
looking
not
at
how they're
my
supposed to
rental
look.
Mine
You know,
are, hey, Bernie. Mine are over full.
Yeah. Mine are actually for 3 months. For this 3 or 4 months, it's actually got the imprint of the equipment on the shelf now.
Exactly.
That's the problem. That's
Hey,
the problem.
Hey, Bernie, there's witness marks and then there's dust
Yeah.
marks, right?
Right.
Oh, I'm schwitzing.
Yeah, me too. It's hot. You're supposed to get up to 115 in the
downtown
LA
LA.
area tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, my pool
That's
is
brutal.
closed for renovation.
That is brutal. Yeah. Nobody's going to be able to get over there anyway.
Exactly.
Man, oh man.
Is the beach going to be open in Laguna Beach? The beach itself?
The beach is open now. Yeah.
What
the
about
beach
over the
itself,
weekend?
Oh yeah, it'll be open. Yeah, they are past closing that down at this point.
Gotcha.
You know. So,
Gotcha.
But I will be in my house because the Laguna is going to be a zoo tomorrow. That's for sure.
boy.
It's going to be.
Oh yeah.
They were shutting
It's
down a
going
lot.
to take an hour just to drive.
At least around this area,
What's that,
they were actually closing a lot of parks. There's signs up all over the local parks that say they closed down.
Really?
Due to
Oh
COVID
yeah.
rules,
I
so
thought so.
I think they were trying to prevent people from
5,
going out
4,
this weekend.
3, 2.
Hey, welcome everybody. It's 2:00. Got to be Bernie's Applebox, and here we are, live, coming at you with Mr. Gary Heimann, my co-host. How you doing, Gary?
Real good, Bernie. I lost a little money since our last show when you said raise your rates, and all my workers raised their rates. So now I don't have enough money to pay rent.
Yeah, there you go.
Me,
well, glad I could help the guys anyway. Glad I could help the guys.
Thank you, Bernie. Thank you.
Good,
Bernie.
Good to see you, buddy. And I know you just got back from a little vacay weekend, or no, I guess weekday, not a weekend, but
weekday.
Yeah, you had a good time up north.
Yeah, up north was wonderful. All the tourists stayed home, and they gave me the whole town of Monterey, so it was fantastic.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome, dude. I know. We all got to take a little break now and then, and I know you're a guy who never takes a break. That is, I can honestly tell you that it was almost, I thought about the last time that you had went anywhere, and I couldn't even remember. I mean, I know you go, some guys' things out of Death Valley and stuff like that as an annual thing, but not just to get away with the wifey and do all that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. We all need that. We don't do it enough, Today we are going to talk about being self-sufficient, and that is a very broad subject right there. But I thought it was worth, you and I had talked earlier this week and about being dependent on people. And you absolutely need your group. You need your friends. You need your contacts, your acquaintances, your clients. That's not what we're really talking about. You need to work with the big group. But what we're talking about is depending on someone else for your livelihood. And as a freelancer, that's death. As anybody in a union, anybody in our industry, getting too dependent or too comfortable with depending on other people can spell doom. And usually it works this way. Is you don't have any idea that you're in trouble until you find out you're in trouble. And by that time, it's usually too late. So that is something that I wanted to talk about, Gary, and all the ramifications of that, and how we can how we all get lazy, dependent, calling us a lot. We'll stop looking out there. And I really want to talk about contacts and looking. And also too, and I've got a video on this, is the best way to have a career in this industry. And also I've got another video that's going to talk about what it really takes, even from a scientific point of view. We got a little TED Talk clip that I'm going to show. So,
Great.
Give me your thoughts on that, because I know that being self-sufficient is very big, and that, both of us have had long careers. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons, but because we have been self-sufficient.
Absolutely, Bernie. This last week, I had a little time to really think about being self-sufficient, and we all become complacent, in our lives and especially our work. And when the phone was ringing, with no advertising except for word of mouth, we just thought that was the way businesses ran. But now, coming out of COVID, now the playing field has all been leveled off. So here we go. Run-the-street market said go. And we got to get out there at 100 miles an hour, and we got to really promote what we did in the past and what we can do in the future. And I really do believe that, we talked about this last week, technology has totally changed in the last 5 months. New cameras are out there, new software, new everything. So we really, really have to get on the move and get out there and go hustle for those clients again. Because if you're waiting for the phone to ring, you're going to wait a long, long time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've done a show on it, but I'll say it again. no matter who you are, no matter who's out there, no matter how secure you think anybody is in this industry, including yourself, take my word for it, you are starting over. It is, as Gary said, it's a new playing field. It's been leveled off. It's been cleared. It's a clean slate. You now will determine how well you do in this industry by your innovation, by your personality, by your grit, and by going out and finding new ways and embracing new business models and new technology. That is going to be the secret sauce of what goes forward. And I will just say this, if you're old like I am or Gary is, it's going to be tougher on you. I was talking about Gary more than myself.
No. You mean not old, but matured. I don't like to use that word old. We're matured, Burnie. We're like a fine wine.
We'll meet in the middle. I'll say aged. How's that?
Oh, I like that.
We're aged.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, I make this point because it's not just us, but I mean, take it down. Obviously, Gary and I are aged quite well, and it will take a different thing for us to get back into the marketplace. And I will just say this, if we even do in the same form that we were, Gary, you know what I mean? Because everything that I am getting in my life right now tells me my former life is over and new opportunities are coming to me, and I'm seeing how I fit into them. So I don't even want to make it like I'm going back and thinking about doing what I'm doing. But for guys our age, you'll have a much heavier lift intersecting in this. But I want to go down to like the 40-year-olds, the 50-year-olds too. That's also going to be a very heavy lift for them, because when you're 40, you've really established a work style. You've established sort of a clientele list. You are very well known for what you do, Things are going to be different. And I will tell you, probably half the producers in this world have financially been wiped out. If you have a production companies eat cash, and if you have not had a good cash flow coming in, those people are probably disbanding, regrouping, finding other skills that they have to make a living. And the same people that were calling you will not be calling you now. You cannot depend on that. So in that context, I'm calling out not just the guys our age, Gary, but the guys that are 50 and 40 too, that you have to start really looking at that marketplace and up your game. Because with less people, and I'm hearing it on, I'd say my business is backed by about 25%, and what I am hearing from clients is they want less people on set. I hear it time and time again. And they are this time willing to cut down creative to make that happen. So what I'm saying is, if you are not in that top tier, certainly out of 100%, the top 10%, you are not going to be competitive in this industry. And what that comes along with is embracing the new technology. Okay? You better know how to work the Lumen radio. You better know how to remotely control lights and set all of that up, and basically be able to be a board op and move quickly with the simple, easy, clean lighting setups. There is no more time to waste on set. And I don't mean anybody's been wasting it intentionally, but you are not going to have the resources that you had before.
Absolutely. During one of our conversations last week, we were talking about technology, and I was watching a Late Show with Stephen Colbert and Conan O'Brien, and they were comparing the looks and the equipment they're using. And Conan O'Brien says to Stephen Colbert, wow, what are you using? Oh, I'm using the top-rated camera, some Sony XYZ camera, worth $40,000, $50,000. And Conan O'Brien does his show with a couple of iPhones, a network broadcast show. So that just, that's just leading us forward. The networks are figuring out that they don't need the big trucks, the cameras, the DPs. They're just going, wow, if we could do it on a shoelace budget and still make the millions of dollars, hey, we got to up our game some way, somehow.
Well, that I posted something on LinkedIn that went totally viral, and it showed Glenn Weiss, who is director for like the Academy Awards, Emmys, all of that, calling the whole show for the Democratic convention from his den. Had all the monitors up there. He had the mouthpiece. He did it, and he called to two big trucks. One was in Delaware. One was in Detroit, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. The studio was in LA, and he tied all that together from his house. Okay, from his house.
Wow.
And I just saw the commercial. I had heard this last week, and I don't have all of the details, so forgive me if I get this wrong. But apparently, I know more about this. Maybe Sammy even does. I know he's there with you.
Yes.
About the Samsung being able to shoot in 8K.
8K.
If I'm not
8K.
Yeah.
And Sammy just right off set, but I believe that's the new Samsung Note 20, the new one that's coming out, Sammy, they can shoot to 8K. Yeah, the new iPhone. Yeah, he's looking that up right now, but I thought a tech report from KTLA, whatever that tech guy, he was showing off the new phone, and he said, yep, this one shoots 8K. So, wow.
Unbelievable.
It's at every level.
Unbelievable. And think about it, I'm shooting, I wasn't on set. I was our job, Bernie's Grip and Lighting went out and did the job, but shot on iPhones, okay,
yes.
for a big clothing manufacturer. Even though it's out, I don't want to say who they were because I haven't been given permission, but over 6 billion views on TikTok. 6 billion views. The model that guys like me are used to, and everybody was probably like 40 plus when they got into this. This is the industry that reused footage. You had bigger budgets because you didn't have the demand. Now the demand isn't just every day, it's every hour. If you're a brand, you've got to have engaging content out there every hour, 24 hours a day. And that's not a big deal either. I mean, look, people all over the world, all these brands are centric to India, centric to Asia, Africa, Europe, North America, South America. You've got to have new content coming out all the time. That is a plethora. That is great for the content makers and even for us, the production quality makers. I will say that we produce production value on our level, so it's the more refined content, and that is the thing that is so valuable to us. But we are in a great place, but at the same time, that means you've got to have every skill in your playbook to be able to produce on the fly, including movies, including everything that's out there. So, and I know we're having some internet issues right now. I got a problem with your feed, right now, I think getting it up, but we're working on that. I know Tony's working feverishly back there working on that. But Tony, let me ask you, can we show a video?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Why don't we do that? Show him my video, that one I put up this week. It did pretty good. About
is my image
about
still
what
up?
we are doing
Still up? We
way
lost
to
this
see
guy
your
called
20,
Tony.
20-year
I'm blue.
career.
I'm blue.
The 5 things.
Can we?
The 5 tips.
Yeah.
We
Can
can
we
do
go
that.
back in?
All right,
Can
let's
we?
take a look.
I guess have to.
All right, very good. Let's do that.
Which one? Oh, that's.
People ask me all the time, what do I need to find a career in film and video? I tell them the same thing every single time. The 5 quick tips to having a 20-year career. Show up on time. Be nice to people. Keep your mind in the game. Listen more than you talk. And help everybody. Everybody says the same thing to me. No, I want to know really. And I say, no, that really is what it takes. We're all people. We're all on the same place for 10 hours a day. You are living with those people more than they live with their own families. The difference is they can pick you. And if they keep picking you, you'll keep on the set and you'll end up with a career after 20 years. The technology always changes. Bottom line, they want to work with a nice person. Keep those tips in mind and you will have a career in film and video.
Hang up on them first.
Okay.
You know, it's amazing, but that is really the case. Now that supposes, of course, that you know your business, that you know your skills, all of that. But it really is the truth. It's who you want to spend time with. You know, if you get a reputation as being a prick or somebody that's hard to get along with, very irascible, that's going to chase you around. Nobody will come up to you and tell you we don't like you. They'll use you when they have to use you, but they won't call you any other time, And in the post that I did on LinkedIn, somebody wrote in there, they go, this seems way too simple. Is that really all it is? And I said, well, given that your skill, it's that simple. It's about being someone that people like to be with. That is the key. That is the element. So, that is really the thing that you have to remember and you have to account for all the time. And it goes up and down the chain. Your clients aren't going to want to work with you. You're going to be the last person they call. And then your crew is not going to want to work with you. If people cannot work with you, they'll go to the better person to work with, and you'll lose the skilled people that you need to make your job and your reputation work. Everybody I hire is smarter than I am. They're better than I am. So I want those guys on set with me every single time. And if you don't get them, it's going to hurt your business. Do we have Gary back, or did he come back yet, Tony?
Still working on it. He's checking back in now.
Okay,
but,
I see him just sitting down there. He looks pretty.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Do we have him? Is this signal coming in?
Nah, we just no video. We have his audio, but no video.
We don't have. But Gary, join in with me because personality-wise, I think you were the guy that I met when I first met you. That you really had a great personality and everybody loved you. Really, you had this, when I met you and I came in new and you had been in the business for 10 years, you had this town wrapped around your finger, Orange County. So answer that for me, Gary, because and I don't know if everybody heard my question, but when I came in, as I said, you were like the king of Orange County because you were friendly, you talked to everybody liked you, they wanted you on your set. Tell me the importance of that.
Yeah, Bernie, here's the deal. When I first broke into the business, it was all about personality types. And
Yeah.
when I looked around the set, I would see the same crew guys, and I was trying to figure that out. Well, why? Well, we're all stuck with each other for 10 to 15 hours on a shoot. So, if somebody had a bad personality or a bad attitude, I producers had many choices, and they would rather see a group of guys working together with no attitude, and things would get done a lot quicker, and it seemed like the shoot moved forward. So, bringing your A game personality is key, absolutely key to being successful in this business. So that's what I always tried to bring: energy, personality, and of course, bringing my technical ability and making sure I'd get the best audio for the job possible. So
Yeah.
that's what I kind of brought to the table. And through the years, I've got my other friends that I grew up with, but then I have my work friends, and I just kept
Right.
that same level of friendliness all the way around, and it just became a great circle of gaining more jobs and footing into this business.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. You know, I too, I realized like I worked in a totally different industry, and one of the great things that I had in that industry is I had the ability to get along with people and convey my thoughts and really have a nicer demeanor and stuff like that. And I saw how my company utilized me in that role and really I won't want to say take advantage, but that was a skill set that I had that they used to their advantage, naturally so. And but I thought about it as I got into this business. I got, you know what? I've run fairly big operations, 100+ employees, that type of stuff, and I go, I did that by talking to employees, talking to customers, talking to everybody. I could do that same thing in this industry. And it really came down to personality. And it came down to being able to listen to people, understand what they needed, and executing on that, and making sure that, when you're managing people, it's about just making sure everybody is on the same page with expectations. You know what I mean? And you don't have to micromanage people, but you have to be aware at all times what situations are going on and that everybody's, getting what they expect to get, because the client won't tell you something. The person who's executing may not even know they're not executing properly. It's up to you to take care of that and really be on that, So,
Yeah. It's when you look at the whole production shoot itself, and you just gaze around. And what I always did as a sound guy, I just didn't sit and twist a knob and put on a lob, hang the boom. I didn't do that. I looked around, and when I saw people struggling with moving a light, moving a camera, you jump in, you
yeah,
get it moved,
yeah,
you keep the production flowing. So
right,
just don't wear the one hat on set. Of
yeah,
course, you come over to them, hey, can I give you a hand? Don't jam in and grab something. Just say,
yeah,
hey, can I give you an extra hand? And then people remember that. They remember
right,
that. And when they're
right,
going down the list, they go, I want that guy because he's a team player. And
right,
I will tell you, I remember a lot of calls came through, and either a camera guy, producer would say, "Oh, okay, great. You came through a great recommendation. You do sound." I go, "Yeah," and he goes, "Are you willing to get up off your behind and do other things? Are you just going to wear the sound hat and call it a day, or are you going to jump in?" I said, "Of course, whatever it takes. Get the shoot done." Think, got the job
right,
instantly, just like.
right, right. And another thing now, if you're on a union set, obviously that's within your
Yeah, I was
department.
just
You're
going to say,
helping
of
you. Yeah, yeah.
course,
You
of
can't
course.
jump over to the other side, but within your department, and that's what you should be doing, looking out for your brothers and sisters in that department and seeing if they need any help, and then, offering yourself up to your key grip if you got free hands, or electric, or the gaffer, obviously. And so, that is one thing, but yes, personality type and going out to help. And Tony, do we have that video, that TED Talk video? Because I ran across this morning, Gary, and it speaks right to the heart of our industry, and it talks about like what I think is why we're successful or are successful in our industry, and gets down to it. Do we? First of all, let me ask this, Tony. Do we have any comments? Do we have some comments or questions?
Let's see. Honda Mike wants to know, Gary, if CBD oil helps during shoots.
Yes, Mike. Thank you for asking. A lot of times I'd hold the boom up here for hours, and CBD oil, if there would have been around, that would have definitely helped my shoulders. So I wish CBD was around back then. Thanks, Mike, for the question.
Yeah. Jeff Freeman's also tuning in and just commenting. Thanks for watching. And thanks for everybody that kind of jumped back in. I know we're back up to the numbers we were before we had the catastrophic failure, but
thank goodness.
Thanks for sticking with us, everybody. The internet is a fickle beast.
Yeah,
I
was just gonna say, hey, Bernie's Applebox must have got the stimulus check in. We're up and running again.
No, I haven't seen the stimulus check yet. Sorry.
We're not rolling blackouts today.
But you know what? And this is something I just want to say. You know what I mean? Live streaming is not for the faint of heart. It is not. If you've got to have everything perfect in this section of this quadrant, it is not built out yet. Let me just tell you that. There are so many different players now, so many different opportunities, different things, different systems you can do things on, and any and all of them are fallible in about 5 different ways that they can fail that no one person or entity controls. No. So you get what you usually get what you pay for, I guess. That's about the best way.
Thanks, Bernie.
I put it. Yeah. No, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about the entities that you have that you buy. Like we have Ecamm, we have vMix. And they're at the mercy of Facebook, who is at the mercy of my Wi-Fi in here. You know what I mean? So it's just like impossible to predict. But we have that TED Talk, and I love this TED Talk. I want you to watch it, Gary. And it is really good because I think it really brings it down in a very scientific way on what it takes to make it.
Great.
Yep.
What if doing well in school and in life depends on much more than your ability to learn quickly and easily? I started studying kids and adults in all kinds of super challenging settings. And in every study, my question was, who is successful here and why? My research team and I went to West Point Military Academy. We tried to predict which cadets would stay in military training and which would drop out. We went to the National Spelling Bee and tried to predict which children would advance farthest in competition. We partnered with private companies asking which of these salespeople is going to keep their jobs and who's going to earn the most money. In all those very different contexts, one characteristic emerged as a significant predictor of success. And it wasn't social intelligence, it wasn't good looks, physical health, and it wasn't IQ. It was grit. Grit is passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. Grit is having stamina. Grit is sticking with your future, day in, day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years, and working really hard to make that future a reality. A few years ago, I started studying grit in the Chicago public schools. I asked thousands of high school juniors to take grit questionnaires, and then waited around more than a year to see who would graduate. Turns out that grittier kids were significantly more likely to graduate, even when I matched them on every characteristic I could measure. Things like family income, standardized achievement test scores, even how safe kids felt when they were at school. So it's not just at West Point or the National Spelling Bee that grit matters, it's also in school, especially for kids at risk for dropping out. Every day, parents and teachers ask me, how do I build grit in kids? So far, the best idea I've heard about building grit in kids is something called growth mindset. This is an idea developed at Stanford University by Carol Dweck, and it is the belief that the ability to learn is not fixed, that it can change with your effort. Dr. Dweck has shown that when kids read and learn about the brain and how it changes and grows in response to challenge, they're much more likely to persevere when they fail because they don't believe that failure is a permanent condition. So growth mindset is a great idea for building grit, but we need more. We need to take our best ideas, our strongest intuitions, and we need to test them. We need to measure whether we've been successful, and we have to be willing to fail, to be wrong, to start over again with lessons learned.
You know, I love this. Nice. I love that when I saw it, dude.
I got one question, Bernie.
Yeah.
Why do they call it TED Talk and not Gary Talk? Hey, I'm the one who.
I've got a couple answers for that, but we don't have the time for that right now, Gary.
See, you know why you don't have the time? Because it's got to be Bernie Talk next.
Well, it may be, but I'll tell you what, that summed up for me exactly what it takes. It is not anything except perseverance. You know what I mean? It is being able to get down in the mud and say, I'm going to make it and I'm going to be the best. And this is right back to the corner of being self-sufficient. You know, ultimately, no one is going to bail you out. If you are dependent on other people to take care of you, and hopefully they're looking out for you, that is fine. And it'll work for a while, but it will not work forever. You have to really remember, not only do you have to take care of yourself, you should be looking out and taking care of a group yourself, because with that group will help lift you up. They will be invested in your success. So being self-sufficient is very important. I would like to say something else too, because I know I've seen so many guys in media fall into this pattern. And that is, they get a client. This is a big production client. They're producing a lot of content. And pretty soon it's 50, 60% of their income base. And they're making big dough and doing quite well and buying gear and cameras and all that stuff for a run. But that run comes to an end. And one thing that you will find at the end of that run is that usually you have been doing nothing to gain more clients. You have been taking all of your time and resources and investing that in that other client. This is the kiss of death. Okay?
Absolutely.
Because by the time that you find yourself and where you're at, and as soon as they don't call, and that could be for any number of reasons. Maybe they lost their client. Maybe they found someone else. Maybe they've got a new financial officer and that says that this guy's making too much money. You know, let's break it up. Let's go down. So the one thing that I learned early on, and this is not because I was particularly smart, it was because I was everyone's third call, you know, is that none of my clients to this very day have ever exceeded more than 15% of my client base. And by having that advantage, which I did not recognize as an advantage starting out, it was the best thing that ever happened to me because it put me in front of so many different people. I had a great base always calling me. And in that way, it has kept me alive all through these years. And I have managed to stay away from, I got big enough so that when I did get that one big client and caller, I never had to say no to my other clients.
Yeah, Bernie, I was just going to say, you know, if you consider your business as a portfolio, and
right.
what they always say is they say diversify, diversify. So
right.
as soon as you ride the back of Amazon and you think you're going to ride that into the sunset and through the valleys and ups and downs, you better hope it's going up. But that one day when the market crash comes and boom, Amazon takes a dive, you don't have anything else invested in any other stocks. So it's the same thing with clients. You got to spread the clients around. And the 1.2, Bernie, is that, you know, everybody thinks they're going to ride on the coattails of their past jobs to get more jobs. That ain't happening anymore. Nope. Because you got to remember, we've got the young guys coming in. You got the mid-streamers, you know, been in the business 10, 20 years, and you got us. So 3 groups of people vying for the same job. So you got to bring your A game every single time you step on a set. It's got to be all or none.
Can I?
I'm
going to interject. That also applies to people who work in like W-2 or people who are employed by large corporations. I can tell you from experience, having spent 20 some odd years with a media corporation, is that employees change. Regimes change, you know, people that you work for change. So you're constantly having to reprove yourself and, you know, get out in front of people and let them know, hey, I'm here. I work for you and this is what I can do for you. So this applies across the board, and not just for freelancers, not just for people like, you know, the things that we do. It's across the board.
I agree.
Tony,
100%.
That is
Tony.
great. Yeah. That is a very good
yourself.
point. Yeah,
right.
Repurpose yourself.
Repurpose yourself.
Absolutely. And to Tony's point, thinking, oh, I do this. Everybody knows I do this. So yeah, they know my value. Tony is 100% there. You have to listen. I think you've got to wake up every day and just thank God for the opportunities and go out there and prove yourself all over again. I know every time I've rested on my laurels, I've gotten burnt. Every time I think, oh, I post about this all the time. People know what I do. They don't know what you do. And believe me, you're only as good as the last time somebody scrolled past you. Okay.
Absolutely.
That is all they remember about you. And you have to be constantly out there reminding them. You have to remind them of your value. You have to do all of that. And Tony's point is really good about regimes changing. You know, you may be the fair-haired boy in one regime, and the other one's looking and going, hey, this guy just costs too much. You know,
right.
And you're going to be fighting for it, you know?
Yeah. You know, great point, Bernie. Here's the deal. You know, in the old days, everything was constant in the old days.
Yeah.
Producers stayed with companies for years and years and years. Now everybody is jumping around. So the person who used to hire you last year or the year before is gone. They either retired or moved to another business. So you've got fresh eyes looking for new people all the time. Yes. That's the key to this game right now. Nothing is set in stone anymore. It's jump or be jumped over. Ooh, I just made that up. That
jump or be jumped over. Yeah, I like that. Okay, I'm putting that on my T-shirt.
Tony, write that down.
I'm putting that. Yeah, jump.
Write that down.
Jump over. Yeah,
I got my notepad.
Good. That's good.
Thank you.
I'm glad I thought of that.
Hey,
Gary.
Quick shout out to Ivan Shaw, who's watching from Jamaica. Thanks for tuning in.
Ivan, awesome, brother. Thank you.
I'd love to know what the time is there. I mean, was it down over? It was probably about 3-4 hours ahead, right?
I think it's probably at least 4.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's at least 4.
I think it's 420. It's 420.
Oh, it is
Number
420.
Yeah.
They're 420 ahead. Yes.
Yeah, and we have
that's another one, Gary. I got to give that to you.
Sorry, I had to do that.
And we have a new viewer tuning in, Israel Noise, who happened to catch the show on Wednesday with our good friend Chris Howland. So decided to tune in today. So thanks for tuning in.
Yes, absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Boy, I don't know. There's so many things. There's another way of utilizing that movement, though, in the industry, because you are so right, Gary. People go from production company to production company. But I call it the cluster bomb marketing. And what that is that you're in with a house, right? You're in with a production house, and they've got all kinds of people there. There's editors, there's PAs, there's writers, production people. Well, when anybody gets a chance, wherever you're at, that's how they see you forever. So the only way you're going to move up is to go to a new production house, right, and get a new job. And when that happens, that other person knows you there. Don't think that when you hear somebody has moved on that you can pass them up or they're not in your circle anymore. You contact them, congratulate them for the upward mobility, congratulate them on the new job, do all that, but mine that contact. You know what I mean? Make sure you're reaching out to them. Make sure you're showing things that are specific to what they do. And then you start there again and you make other contacts in that new production house. And this is what I mean by cluster bomb, because I've had this my whole career. People go over to one thing and now I'm working for these people. Now I'm working for those other people. Maybe they're both competitors now of the first person who they started with. And that has really served me well by making sure I didn't let my contacts go.
Yeah, Bernie, I just want to add to that, we used to call it line of sight hiring.
Yes.
What I mean about that is that when I'm on a big set and I'm looking around and I'm seeing everybody shaking hands and, different people coming in and out, I would always go up to somebody and just introduce myself real simply and just say, hey, how are you? I'm doing sound today. What role are you playing on, in this set? You just don't know who you're going to run into on a set. And then, just, let them know what you're doing. And if you can be any help, can I get you some water, get you some food, show you where the craft service table is. But they'll always remember that. They'll always, and you never know who that person is. You never know.
Well, you know what? I was on a sound mixer's Zoom call where Israel, I think, was on that too. And we covered that subject, and it was very good because, really any department head should be reaching out to the other department heads, especially the gaffer. And I just come back to this because everything intersects back to camera. You know what I mean? They should be, in other words, as a gaffer, I should be introducing myself to the sound guy, let him know anything you need. The makeup person, anything you need. Wardrobe, anything you need. Production, camera assistant, anybody there. That way you've made contact with everybody. You've taken the initiative. They know your name now, and that is going to rest. And you know how many jobs I have gotten from makeup women?
Yes.
I'm telling you, dude, being on, taking consideration about makeup women, sound guys have gotten me plenty of jobs. PAs have not only got me jobs, but I've been working for the guy that was a PA 5 years ago, and he owns the hottest production company in town now. You know what I mean? Because I was friendly to him, because I asked him what he needed. And that is something I would say to every department head. First of all, go up and introduce yourself to the PA. Let them know if they have any questions or they need any help. Come to you. It's okay to ask. You know what I mean? Because they may have something they're too embarrassed to ask about to their immediate supervisor, and they can find out that way. But I will tell you, that is good. Peter, I see you're doing that too. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. That is so important to do. And that's leadership. And that's sort of another thing about self-sufficiency. If you're a leader, you are going to be self-sufficient. People are going to call you with information. They're going to call you with opportunity. And that's another reason to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, Bernie, I was going to, talk about respecting everybody on set equally. It's so important that you never, ever talk down to anybody. You always treat everybody as an equal and call everybody by their first name. I'll tell you, so many times I'm sitting on set and they bring this film mentality to the set going, hey, sound. That doesn't work in my book. That just shows zero respect for me. As soon as they called me Gary, I was at attention, whatever you need. So same thing with PAs. You don't go, hey, PA over here. Hey, camera guy over here. Just learn their names, their first names, and you'll see how much work comes, work and comes out of the set, and just the transition from getting started and getting motivated to get the shoot done goes sky high. And the other thing you were saying about makeup gals, they say, hey, Bernie, can I get a light for makeup? Boom. You get them the light for makeup. Bam. And they go, wow, thank you so much. You go, boom, here's my card. I do lighting. Here's my makeup card. You exchange information. So that's what I've always done on set.
Yep. And once again, we're down to, people are going to call the people, they're going to refer the people whom they want to spend 10 hours with.
Thank you.
Who they can spend 10 hours with, And, as a gaffer, I started learning fairly quickly the chain of command. First of all, the producer hires the director, right? The director then has his own, usually, preferences for the director of photography, because that is a very close bond right there that they have to have. Well, the director of photography is going to obviously have his preference on a gaffer, but it doesn't just work that way, because sometimes the chain of events is out of line. So if you've got a celebrity coming in, they're probably talking to the makeup person first, who is going to be, and that person says, who would you get, maybe they have the DP, but who would you get to light this, and then my name is going to come up. Then that suggestion is going to come up. I mean, and I saw Peter, he posted on there that, he's gotten a couple gigs as well, that way through the makeup department. But anybody you are making friends with is a potential client for you. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I can't harp on enough memorizing everybody's name on set, because,
that's a good one.
If a producer keeps calling me Sound, hey, Sound, you ready? Sound, what do you think? And I go, just a second, producer. You think he's going to like me? No. First name basis with everybody. Get to know everybody on set. And that just connects people. And the communication just works a lot smoother that way. That's very the point I wanted to drive across.
Very good advice. Absolutely. Oh boy. I'll tell you, we and once again, we are still in this COVID stage. We are still slow. Everyone and everybody in every country that I have talked to is still very slow. Certainly not back up to normal. But just remember too, we're never coming back to what we had. This is all new territory. I cannot stress to you enough how important it is for you right now to be innovative, to be looking around the corner, seeing what's coming, and to up your gamesmanship. You will not go back to the world you came from. It will not have the same players in it. Be ready for that. If you are not getting out and promoting yourself right now, every day on social media through whatever device you have, and picking up the phone and calling people, and you don't have to badger them. You don't have to have a real long conversation. Just let them know you're thinking of them. Let them get their point of view of how things are doing. You must work at your job right now, 8 hours a day, promoting yourself and thinking about coming back and figuring out that form that you will fit into in the comeback. This is so important, everybody. If you want to have a career, you're going to start now. You know, I would love to be some guy that has no experience on set right now and wants to get into the business. They own the new industry. They own the new industry.
So true. Hey, Burnie, I just want to pick up on a fact that you brought up with how many people are going to be allowed on set coming up in the near future. And everybody's scared to death of this COVID deal and about passing it on to somebody. So my suggestion is, until we get back to whatever normal it's going to be, you better start learning all the crafts. You better start learning, because you know, somebody's going to walk onto a set and there's going to be 5 grips, a couple gaffers, you know, two or three camera guys. It's going to be so crowded. Talent's going to walk in and look around going, nope.
Yep.
Well, the new Batman movie that's being shot.
Batman movie, Batman got COVID.
Boom. Because somebody on the set wasn't checked out or slipped through, whatever happened. So I think
could have been anything.
I think the amount of people or crew guys on set is going to shrink up maybe 50, 75%. I think that's what we're going to see through a transition, the transition to get to the new normal.
Yes. And Gary, I'll tell you something else. Robotics, AI, remote production skills and tools are going to come to the forefront, as well as anything that LED screens, that anything that CGI, anything that can cut down on the production footprint is going to happen. I would say right now, you need to learn new skills. If you're a lighting guy, you need to get on Unreal Engine right now and start learning lighting skills, or any of the other programs that are out there. You better be able to work remotely. You better be able to work digitally. And I'll tell you another thing, robotics have not hit our industry yet, but I can assure you that is going to be the new byword in the next 5 to 10 years. Robotics are going to make a huge introduction into media production.
Absolutely. And the one thing we're going to have to learn coming back from COVID is you're going to have to be PPE'd knowledge based on.
Absolutely.
You know, there's no more going to the restroom and not washing your hands, getting back in and on a set. You know, you can't bring the COVID to set. You got to almost, self-contain yourself to keep yourself healthy. So you're able to work a set and not be quarantined. So you're going to have to step up your game on that too.
Yeah. So Ivan just asked, I'm seeing here is like, what would some of those transitions be? What I see, Ivan, is there's first of all, your intellectual property. You've got to expand your thinking. It's not just your job anymore. It's the whole set. Just like Gary said, you have to be safety conscious to an nth degree like you've never been before. Also, I would say the transitions that are going to go on now is think in terms of this. Where can you be? How can you work with a DP? If I'm a gaffer, where can I be where I can control lights remotely on sets? How many people can I cut off of that set to just have, say, an AC there who's taking care of the DP who is operating remotely? Who do I need there to power up the lights that say maybe I am controlling remotely through a third-party app that is letting me see what I'm doing and telling me all my information? And maybe I could be working actually as a gaffer 2 sets at one time where I am actually lighting that in conjunction with the DP on those 2 sets and doing that. you have to embrace technology to a degree that we have never embraced it before. And you've got to start thinking in terms of being able to minimize the bodies on set and maximize the technology that can let you duplicate yourself. Also, I think with LED screens, you want to light a background, you're going to have the skills to go in and light a scene on an LED screen remotely, and you probably do that in pre-production, obviously, and then be able to make changes on it and on the fly as creative may change in the studio. And once again, you will do that remotely. So that is what I'm looking at. And that's not to speak of the robotics that will come to people and things like exoskeletons and stuff like that, which will allow people to do jobs that used to take 2 people to do. It will now take 1 to do. Okay. And maybe even remote stands that can, reposition themselves geotagged and put themselves in one position or another that you can also do remotely. So I think all of that stuff is coming in the next 5 years.
Yeah, and speaking of, moving on with transitions back into the new normal, when you get your list of PPE steps, what to take before you get onto a set, I also suggest go above. Just don't meet that criteria. I would think of other things to do to bring to the set to make yourself even more secure, making everybody else feel secure that you're not bringing COVID to the set and you've done everything that you can to prevent that. I think you should always try to be one step ahead of the list they give you.
And that's the type of stuff you should be posting on your social media. Yes. You should be posting all of that type of information on your social media and owning that intellectually, that people see, and they get turned on to it from there, because that's going to tell them, that's going to advertise that you know what you're talking about. Exactly. And you know what's safe, so yeah, I can tell by Tony popping up there, we're over time, so we've got to be, any words of wisdom, Tony, before we leave from anybody?
No, everybody's been pretty much, we got the questions up and, thank yous and agreements.
Yeah, good.
Hey, Burnie, I would like to say that, just bouncing back a little bit, word of mouth used to be my best advertising.
Right.
That's gone.
Right.
That is completely gone.
Yeah.
And I say it's word of social media posting now.
Yes. And still you'll get those people referring you, and that is the gold, and the gold. That's why it is. But I'll tell you what, if they don't see you on social media, they're not thinking about you. If they're not thinking about you, it's line of sight. They are not going. You're not going to be the first one on their mind. So that's why that's so important.
Very true. And one more thing while I'm thinking about it is that we're not on set right now. So there's no more word of mouth. There's no more handing out business cards. Social media is the set. That's basically the new set. And prove yourself and get out there and get it.
And if you're not on
whether
LinkedIn,
you like it or not, that's it.
Get thee onto LinkedIn. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Give me a friend request on LinkedIn. Give me a friend. Any production people, I always
wrong way there.
Request. Yeah. Get on LinkedIn and get on it. Look me up, Craig Burnie Burns. Yeah,
it was myself.
Yeah. Like this. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but we're all on there. But anyway, everybody, listen, Gary, thank you. Tony, thank you. It's a great show today. I loved it. And, of course, we were frantic and panicky, and we're sorry about the technical issues. But, hey, we're doing it, and I will see you on set.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Sammy. My engineer, the great.
That's a wrap.